The story no one is talking about. Jasmine Crockett is under investigation by the FEC, Federal Election Committee, for fraudulent donations. That is right. You heard me correctly, and you're probably trying to figure out, why haven't I heard this on MSNBC, CNN? Why is nobody talking about this? Well, I have the same question, but this is all legitimate. So, by the way, we have a great video where somebody actually approached one of the donors and they had no idea they made this big contribution. We'll get to that in a second. Let me just give you guys the foundation. By the way, please like this video so others can see what's happening and why nobody else is talking about this. Thank you so much. It helps out a lot. Okay, so here's what's going on. Basically, you have a group called the Coolidge Reagan Foundation. They are a conservative advocacy group. Now, here's what you need to know. They made the initial complaint, but on all sides of the political spectrum, a lot of times they're referred to as these watchdog groups, where people donate their time to look into specific political candidates, whether they're doing something sketchy on like the stock market or behind the scenes with these donations. They look into these things and then they expose it to the public. It's a great thing, but it happens on all sides. Basically, the complaints reference a specific suspect donor reported to have given 53 separate donations totaling $595 to Crockett's campaign through the Act Blue portal. And a lot of, you've probably heard of Act Blue. A lot of major political candidates, they get their donations through Act Blue. So here's where it gets kind of crazy. The suspected donor was a 73-year-old Texas resident named Randy Best. And that's fine. If you want to make 53 separate donations totaling $595, that's fine. However, this seemed to be a little off. In fact, you even got this guy right here, and you guys are gonna laugh at this video because it's insane. He did his due diligence and actually showed up to the residency, and they had no idea what he was even talking about. Check this video out, it's insane. By the way, I should mention, this is Sheldon Daniels. He's running up against Crockett. So again, he's doing his due diligence to figure out, did you guys actually make this donation? Check this out.
All right, guys. So I'm about to go to Randy Best's house, introduce myself, and just ask them straight up if they contributed to Jasmine's campaign, if they contributed that amount, and why they like her so much, because I might be able to learn a little bit of something while I'm up here. I'm way up here in Collin County. I'm in Plano, Texas, very far from TX30. It's very peculiar that somebody up here would give that much money to a candidate in our district. Maybe they have a special connection to the district. Let's go find out. I'm not gonna film them. I'm not gonna put any faces or anything on there. I'm just gonna have my camera down at the ground. I'm gonna be standing in a public, area in open air. I'm just, recording what's going on around me. Let's see what happens. Here's the house. Here's the house right here. Here we go. How do you do, ma'am?
No soliciting.
I'm not here. I'm not a solicitor. I'm attorney Sheldon Daniels.
Okay.
Is there a Randy Best who lives here?
That's my husband.
Yeah. I just want to verify. Are you guys aware that you were charged over $16,000 last year? Yeah.
What?
I have a list of charges. I'm just here to verify that you guys know about this. $16,240 in political contributions to a candidate named Jasmine Crockett. Do you remember that at all? Does your husband remember that at all?
I don't know. He's on the road on his way to Colorado.
Okay. It says here that he's not employed. Is he employed now?
No, we're retired.
Okay. I can leave this with you if you want. It's got your information on it.
Yeah, you can just leave it on the table.
Yes, ma'am. You mind if I take a picture?
Go
All right, thank you. Okay, guys, so I just drove by the home of this Randy Best guy. This guy, he's a 73-year-old retiree, unemployed. He and his wife, I guess they just travel around in an RV or something. I don't know, but he's on the road. His wife answered the door. She said that they had no idea what these charges were, and they had no idea that they were charged $16,000, or that they are responsible for $16,000 in political contributions to Jasmine Crockett. Yet she has them listed as political contributors. Now, mind you, I'm way up here in Plano. I'm in a totally different county. I'm in Collin County right now. The only reason why I'm even able to do this is because I practice law all over North Texas, and I drive all over, so I know North Texas very well. Collin County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County, Grayson County. A lot of shady stuff going on with Jasmine Crockett, and I see why she was doing all this, because she's trying to distract from the corruption. I wonder how deep it goes.
Now, I knew nothing about Sheldon Daniels before I even made this video. It turns out he is a Republican, an Army veteran, an attorney, small business owner, so it all makes sense. When you're an Army veteran, you learn to do your reconnaissance from day one. You want to make sure the drill sergeants are not around, otherwise you can get in trouble for anything. But on a serious note, it is good to see that somebody is spending their day or taking the time to look into this very serious matter. And again, the question I have is, why is nobody talking about this? Now, digging into this a little bit more, it turns out through Act Blue, she has received over $870,000, and that's fine. Again, Act Blue is not the problem, it's the reporting problem. The FEC says it's unclear how many other fraudulent transactions made in the name of unsuspecting innocent people who did not actually provide the funds. That is now the question. So the next step is for the respondent, Crockett, to have 15 days to respond to the allegations. The FEC historically grants extensions 30 to 60 days. Now, Jasmine Crockett recently has been quite loud, is the only way I could describe Miss Crockett's behavior. I mean, even Scott Jennings from CNN has started to question, when did Jasmine Crockett start to become the spokesperson for the Democrat Party? Just go ahead and watch this clip. I'm curious how you guys feel about this.
To have the sitting Attorney General go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law.
So again, I am not trying to imply anything. However, when you start to know what's going on behind the scenes and now becoming public, in fact, as I'm filming this, I'm seeing more and more traction on X And I'm sure when the really big accounts, even Fox News and other right-leaning independent spaces start to, make this more viral, I'm sure we're going to get more answers. So I am quite curious to see what her response is. I would love to make this video and have her response, but this is all happening right now. Like, this is all fresh, and she does have about 30 to 60 days to respond according to FEC traditions as far as these extensions. And again, it's probably best for her to not respond just to make sure that everything she has is in line and legal. And in case you missed it, here is Scott Jennings just questioning what exactly is going on. He was one of the first people on national television to say, why is she so out there? Why are people loving her? Why is she the voice of the Democrat Party right now?
Every time she appears and makes one of these mistakes, says something radical, it only further divides her party from the rest of the other 80% of America who can't stand this. But the problem is there's an audience for it. I heard Jimmy Kimmel's audience cheering on Tesla vandalism. I hear the Daily Show audience cheering on attacks on Elon Musk. I hear the human rights audience cheering on an attack on a man in a wheelchair. And I realize this is what the left has become, an angry mob of people who are cheering on attacks on a guy in a wheelchair and vandalism against people who bought a Tesla. It's pathetic. No less.
All right, so let me know what you guys feel about this. Quite shocking. I wasn't going to make any more videos today, but I had to stop everything I was doing and look into this because, again, I thought it was actually not true, maybe fake, but it turns out to be completely true. And that congressman or potential congressman, the fact that he did his due diligence is amazing. Fascinating video, I might add. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. God bless, and we'll see you all later.